Hi, my name is Jesse Skittrell and I'm the program coordinator for the Atarashii Apprentice Program. Thank you for your interest in wanting to become an apprentice with our program. We oftentimes get several questions on how this process works and what all is involved before you actually apply. So we wanted to do a quick video and go over exactly what each of those components are worth. So one of the first things we like to tell people is all apprenticeships start with a job. So the big deal here is we're trying to get you placed with what we call a training agent or an employer training provider. And what they're gonna do is be the one that's responsible and be your employer, and they will sponsor you. And what we do is we oversight the program within the confines of their four walls. So we vet them and make sure that they are in compliance and that they can support something like this, so that they have the will and the capabilities to do it, and then we partner with them on your education. So you're responsible to us for your education, and we manage you through the whole process and help you get placed with an employer training partner as well. The second question we get asked a lot is, how many hours are it? So what you'll want to do is go take a look at the program overview here on the website, and what that's going to do is it's going to tell you exactly what the scope of practice is for each one of the occupations and give you an idea of what the hours are. You'll want to also communicate with our applicant coordinator, who will have a very specific amount of hours that you have to achieve. That leads us to the next question: how many hours? There's two sets of hours that have to be accomplished. The first is called OJT, or on-the-job training or on-the-job learning. And those hours are going to vary anywhere from 2,000 on up to 3,500 hours, depending again upon the state and the domain that you choose to do. Every single one of those hours is going to be paid within the salon by the employer. So you're going to be paid to learn at the same time. Those are all clocked, and those are all managed through us, and they're all reported to the state so that you have the ability to sit for your exam. The second set of hours that needs to be accomplished is called RSI, oftentimes called RTI or just RI, which means related instruction. And that's going to be the testing, that's going to be the classroom time, that's going to be the assignments, etc., etc. Those typically will range anywhere from 144 hours on up to 750 hours. So those are activities that can be done on your own time and on downtime, and can be done at your own pace. What'll happen is you'll be actually assigned a learning leader once you actually get to working with a partner through our organization. And what we do is we hire instructors that are familiar with the industry and with the occupation. And they're gonna babysit you, for lack of a better word, through the whole process, and they'll be the one that holds your hand. And they're gonna educate you on how to use the programs, they're gonna educate you on which ones you need to accomplish, and they'll communicate with your training partner or training salon, spa, or shop, and make sure that the education that they are assigning you is in accordance with what they're going to be teaching you inside of the salon, shop, or spa. Then the next question typically is, what's the pay? The pay is at least going to be minimum wage in all 50 states. It can oftentimes be much higher and titrates up very quickly. That is something that you'll iron out with your employer before you actually begin, and you'll have an agreement that on what actually begins. The other question is, do I actually have to go to school? No, there is no actual brick and mortar school that you'll go to. You'll actually do all of your education within the confines of the four walls of your salon, shop, or spa, and we'll oversight the program remotely and make sure that everything's being accomplished and everything's being done in order to attain compliance with your state and or federal department, so that you can sit for the exams in your state for licensure. Then oftentimes we're asked, what do I need? You're going to need a computer, and you're going to need a smartphone, and you're going to need an internet connection for this. As far as your kit is concerned, or the tools that you're going to need, oftentimes that can be built as you go. We also have the capability in a lot of states of financial assistance to help you build your kit, such as your tools, your mannequin, etc., etc. And those can be built as you go. They do not have to be purchased up front. We always tell people, oftentimes the salon will have tools and equipment that you can borrow until you have enough financial resistance to be able to do it on your own. The process of becoming qualified is actually pretty easy. Once you apply, you have 2 weeks to complete your dashboard. You'll actually be assigned a dashboard. On that dashboard, you'll do a W-4, I-9, you'll upload your social security card, your identification to make sure that you're able to work in the United States, as well as your high school diploma. Little note on that is if you have a challenge with a high school diploma or transcripts, you're going to want to connect with the program coordinator and let them know, and they'll be able to have some workarounds to be able to work around that as well. You'll also do a resume, and then you'll do a video interview. That video interview is done very much like this. It'll be videotaped, and then it's put right into your dashboard, and all of that is considered a completed and qualified candidate. Oftentimes we find it looks more overwhelming than it really is. It only takes an hour at the best to be able to accomplish everything that's needed for that. Once that's done and you're a qualified candidate, then you're actually put into our apprentice pool. And that is a big pool that all of our employers can pull from and interview from as well. So they can pull you out of that pool, and they'll oftentimes reach out for that interview. You also have access to them as the employer trainers, and you have the ability to approach them. And from that point, you can interview from that, and they can pull you out of that pool as well. So we highly, highly recommend it. So again, it all starts with a job. We also provide you the opportunity to be able to, if you are friendly with a salon, shop, or spa, we will vet them into the program, and they actually get a price break for being able to take you on. So it's in your best interest, if you don't have a salon right away, to be able to check out that list, or if you have a salon in your area that you're friendly with, to turn them on to our program. What if you have hours from beauty school and maybe you dropped out, or maybe you're an immigrant from another country? How does all of that work? We have autonomy to do what's called previous credit for experience. So while the hours don't directly transfer, we can do an analysis of where your skills are at, and if we have documentation that you've been in the industry, we can certainly apply those towards hours as well. Again, you'll have that conversation with your learning leader once you become qualified and an actual apprentice on how that system actually works. The biggest question we get is, how much does this cost? There's no application fee whatsoever. Once you get involved in the program and a salon picks you up, you'll decide pay with them, and any form of monthly payments for the program, that'll be decided with them. As far as we're concerned, there is a one-time seat fee of $450, and that actually will be good for 2 years, and that gets you your access to your learning path, and that gets you your access to your coach on a regular basis. And then the last question we oftentimes get is, can this be part-time or does it have to be full-time? Again, this is an employment opportunity. So we encourage you to talk directly with your employer. It can be either part-time or it can be full-time. Oftentimes, depending upon the state where you're at, there's a clock that's going on how long you have to finish the program, and that's going to depend upon each state. So we want to work with you and the employer trainer to make sure that we have the right hours that are going to get you accomplished in the right amount of time. What occupations are available? If you take a look at our program descriptions on this website, you're going to find that there's typically 5 different occupations. Cosmetology, there might be hair design depending upon your state, barbering, master barbering, as well as aesthetics and manicuring. So again, it's going to depend upon your state and what licenses they often offer. So we will make sure that we are in the scope of practice for each and every state. One of the questions we oftentimes get is, what's the difference between cosmetology and hair design? Depending upon your state, in the practice of cosmetology includes hair, skin, and nails, so manicuring, pedicures, facials, makeup, hair removal, waxing, as well as anything having to do with hair, haircuts, color, etc., etc. If you have a hair design, hairdresser, or hair stylist occupation or license that is exclusively hair, there is no skin, there's no nails, there's no makeup, there's no hair removal. So if you're deciding on which direction you want to go, that's something you want to keep in mind as well.